the speaker. I can sit down. I can be quiet. I can take out pictures of my family and show them to you. I'm in control. But what I'm not in control of is I'm not in control of you. But I can use those 4 different things to get after you so that it causes you to learn and respond. I was trying to teach this to one of my friends one time, and he said to me, that reminds me of a famous Latin essay. And I said, a Latin essay? He said, yeah. And he says, it's trying to say the same thing that you're saying, that is that the teacher's in control. He says, I think I have that at home in my Latin book. So he brought the Latin book to the office, and I have a copy of it right here. There it is, in Latin. And there is one part of this that is right down to the point where we're trying to make, and that is, Lort nac nisi receda. A teacher's in control. That's a very important phrase, and I want you to know that. Would you say it with me? Lort nac nisi receda. Ready? Lort nac nisi. Say it again. Lort nac nisi receda. Don't look at it. Look at me. I want you to know this. You always know Latin from now on. Just the women. Tell it to me. Ready? Lort nac nisi receda. Just the men? Lort nac nisi receda. Now, tell it to 2 people next to you. Quickly, quickly. All right, say it for me. Ready? Lort nac nisi receda. Now, what that essay is trying to say is that a teacher is in control. And I want you to look at that for a minute, Lort nac nisi receda, because it's not Latin. Take a look at it real closely, backwards. A teacher is in control. Now, why did we do that? God, I promise I'll never do this again. Why did I do that? I was sitting in my office one day saying, how can I validate to a group of adults how much a teacher's in control? And I said to myself, if I can get a group of adults saying nonsense together, my friends, you and I are in control. Now maybe you'll be saying, yeah, but you don't know my class. What you've just said is they're in control. Isn't it interesting that a very disruptive class, that teacher gets sick, and a substitute comes walking in who knows about Lort nac nisi receda and knows how to use subject, style, setting, and the speaker. And in a few short minutes, that class is over. Just like that. It's a brand new class. People are listening, on the edge of their seat, involved, discussing. Why? It's the teacher's in control. It's not the class, it's the teacher who is in control. Lort nac nisi receda. Shirley Hufstedler, the former U.S. Secretary of Education, said the secret of being a successful teacher is to accept in a very personal way the responsibility for each student's success or failure. Those teachers who do take personal responsibility for their students' successes and failure tend to produce higher achieving students. So whose responsibility is it? All right, number 4. Teachers should judge their success by the success of their student. By the success of their student. How do you know if you have a really great painter? Answer by his degrees, what art school he went to. How do you know if you have a great teacher? See, it's interesting how we confuse the matter. Well, he has all these degrees, he's written all these books, she serves on all these committees. How do you know if you have a great teacher? See, it's that divorce again. The great teachers are the ones who have the great students. I remember giving this one time in Baltimore. And at a break, a well-dressed 55-year-old man came up, grayish hair, $700 suit it looked like, and he said to me, I own my own companies and I'm back in school getting my MBA. I said, well, that's exciting, that's good. He said, well, I was in the middle of my coursework and I came to this one class, and the woman who was teaching it, the first hour, she said, you know, this is a very difficult course and 70% of you are going to fail this course. He said, when I heard her say that, I said to myself, man, what a teacher she must be. He said, now I have a whole different impression of what kind of teacher she is. 75% of her class failed. How did she do? She was a failure as a teacher. How do you know if you're a good teacher? Answer by what on earth your students are doing. It's not what you're doing up front that counts, but did they get it or not? Number 5, teachers impact more by their character and commitment than by their communication. You see, it's your character that speaks more loudly than your words, doesn't it? If you think back on those men and women that have been your greatest teachers, I dare say you probably don't remember much what they said. But it was the character of the person that kept on saying it and saying it and saying it. Number 6, teachers exist. They exist to serve the students. Guy Dowd, who was the National Teacher of the Year, said, "My job isn't so much to teach as it is to help students learn. You can teach to a wall, but when you help someone learn, you have to get involved with the whole person. And the issue is, you got to serve the students." What does it mean to serve the students? It means to get behind them and give them anything they need so that they will learn. The last one that I want you to show you tonight is number 7. And that is, teachers who practice the APL laws can become master teachers. See, somehow we think that great teachers are hatched. They're not hatched. They're not manufactured. Great teachers are improved a little bit at a time. You see, there are some universal laws. If I were to take this pen and let it go, which direction would it go? Down. If I dropped it 10 times, how many times out of 10 will it fall down? Now, if I got out of the picture and I gave it to you and let you drop it, which way would it go? And if I went to Brazil, on the other part of the world, and gave it to somebody on the street, and I said to a little boy, "You drop this pen, which direction would it fall?" You know, why would they all fall down? It's so obvious. It fall down because there's a universal principle at law, isn't it? We didn't make gravity, we uncovered it, and now we're using it, aren't we? Well, there are same kinds of laws in teaching and communication between one person and another person, or one person and a mass of people. Those laws, universal laws. Some people have learned how to master the laws of boredom. No matter what they're teaching or what group they're teaching, they're boring every single time. In the morning they're boring, in the afternoon they're boring, at nighttime they're boring. They're boring teaching the Bible, they're boring teaching math. Why? They've learned over the years how to master boredom. Now, other people have learned how to master excitement and innovation and effective teaching, that no matter when, where, or who they're teaching, it's the exact opposite. And we think it's personality when it isn't personality, because anybody can drop the pen. And anybody can teach in a monotone. This is a very exciting time in my life, and I'm really very happy to be here tonight. It's really going to change your life very much, and there's 17 points we're going to give here. You talk like that, and what are you going to do? You're going to bore people 100 times out of 100. Well, flip it over. Just as there's laws governing boredom, there's also laws governing the positive side of it. And that's what we want to talk about. And our challenge for you and for all of us in this law is that you would become a Lort Knockneasy grad through all of this. And that slowly your mindset of how to think about teaching and communication as you go through each of these laws would begin to change, and your mind would become Appleized. You'd become different in how you think about it. And the mindset and the meaning that we want you to have is the APL meaning of this law, which is to cause to learn. Cause to learn. The teacher should accept the responsibility of causing students to learn. There's a very powerful quote by a frustrated inner-city father when he's talked to the school board about what he saw happening to his daughter at school. It goes something like this: "You people operate a monopoly, like the telephone company. I got no choice where I send my child to school. I can only go where it's free, and she's not learning. That's your responsibility. It's the responsibility of the principal. It's a teacher's responsibility that she's not learning. And when you fail, when everybody else fails my child, what happens? Nothing. Nobody gets fired. Nothing happens to nobody except my child. If you were that inner city father, how do you think you'd feel? And how do you think our Heavenly Father feels? My friends, there must be a better way. And there is a better way. And that's the better way we want to talk to you about in this course. It's God's way. It's Champions for Christ in the classroom. Let me wrap up part 1 of the Law of the Learner. I simply have one question for you. Will you, right now, accept the responsibility in your own heart to cause your students to learn? That regardless of what it takes, regardless of what's going on, that you're going to pick up the mantle of the master and cause your students to learn every time you teach. Since that's the kind of teacher you want to be,